Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Locatz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page and the morning card draw information. It's Saturday morning. Yay! It's the weekend. And it is July 14th, 2018. And I always have to put the year in there because, you know, if you're like me, sometimes you forget. It's like, did you ever do that? Go to write a check. And one time I wrote 1998. That wasn't right. When it was like, I think it was like 20, I don't know, was it 2012 or 2014 or something like that? I knew it wasn't right when I saw it. I must have been time traveling. That's it. Hey, good morning, Rochelle and Elise. Elise, you're back. Yay. And Mato is here. Good morning, Mato. And Rochelle, howdy. Howdy. You know, I wish I could show your comments. One of these days we'll do a Be Live TV app, one so we can show comments and stuff. Yeah. So yes, Elise, glad to see you too. Yeah. And then also, let's see, Rochelle is saying, I do that. How about the year thing? Yeah. Sometimes, you know, you just kind of zone out on it. Now, this weekend for me is a very special weekend. I kind of shared a little bit, I think, yesterday about it. It's because I was getting prepared for my sisters to be here. We really try to get together at least once a year physically. So we're in the same place and we're actually, rather than using Skype, right? And so we chose this weekend, and two of the six, including me, there's six of us, three of us are here, and they're actually here up at the academy with me. Shh, they don't want to be on camera, but you know what? 10 to 1, I know these two really well. So when we get to the information, you might hear a voice speaking and putting their 2 cents in, which is good, but it's not my guides. It's my 2 sisters who are sitting over there. So yeah, well, you know, it's a weekend and no makeup. They didn't put makeup on, you know, they got what I call Sunday hair, and when you don't do much to it, right? They're going to kill me for that. All right, so today's card draw is a card that we've had before, but I think there's a bit of a twist to it because of the animal relatives who showed up to help us to understand it at a deeper level and more clearly, right? So let's see. Elise is saying, I can't tell you how weird it is to be without phone, internet, TV for almost 4 days. You were off grid? Like, was it because of a storm or power outage? Sorry. Elise is saying, get your faces on there. I don't think they'll do that. Oh my gosh. All right. So this is the card that came up this morning. And many of you will recognize it because we've talked about this a few times without actually drawing the card. Counting Coup. It's about victory. It's about victory. I love the artwork on these things. Look at the staff that he's holding. That's pretty interesting. Did you guys see that? Mm-hmm. Got to give it back though. And so it's about victory. And all right, without naming names, because we said we weren't going to put this on Facebook, but we did a celebration last night because sometimes you just have to stop and pause and celebrate the victories. Sometimes you just have to celebrate everything that you've accomplished. And we have one of our sisters who has gone through quite a bit. She had some real challenges, and she faced every single one of them. And she had us at her back, sometimes holding her hand, sometimes holding her while she cried. Other times it was, yeah, go ahead and swear as much as you want because we've heard it all. And so she's laughing now. And so our resident sister artist did a painting for her to celebrate. And so that's what we did last night. And it was fun, and walked down memory lane and counting the victories that the sister did. And even though sometimes it felt like she had her head down and just putting one foot in front of the other, you know, just even with that sometimes was a victory. And so when we're counting Coup, because actually this is all about In the old days, prior to reservations, so we're talking before 1800, maybe before mid 1800, Native warriors would ride as close as they possibly could to their opponent, to their enemy. Killing them was too easy. And so what they would do is they would ride as close as possible to them to be able to touch them. And when they did that they were breaking through the other person's medicine, right? And so it was a show of strength, courage, bravery. And it's even said that if they could steal their horses or their wife, that meant that they had more medicine, more stronger medicine than their enemy. But today in modern time, it's not so much another person, another two-legged enemy, so much as facing our own shadow selves. That's our opponent. And where the tie is between, with our celebration last night, is as a group of sisters, we have learned how to face our shadow selves with support and with a whole lot of love. And so the sister that we were celebrating last night, that's what she did. She counted Coup time and time and time again and faced those shadow parts of herself. And she taught us a lot by doing that. And she's laughing. She's laughing because she taught us, as we were her witnesses, and we were also sometimes her accomplices. You know what I mean? We really didn't hurt anybody, though. No, I'm just joking. Let's see. All right. We get some comments here before I lose them too far. Elise is saying, I've gained 40 pounds since I got sick, so I need to see your faces, ladies. Okay, they're saying that you're going to have to come on camera too with us then. Maybe we'll do that when you're here in September, Elise. Oh my goodness, Julie Hedges just joined us. Hello, Julie. And Julie is saying, good morning, everyone. On the way to Florida today. We'll broadcast my show, The Tarot Journey, on Monday from the beach. Yes, she is. I get to produce her show for her on Monday. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that because you know what she's going to be doing for her show? She's going to be doing an hour of card draws for us. So if you would like to have a tarot card, single card reading with Julie, watch her show on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and she'll be able to do a card draw. Yeah, from the beach. How cool is that? All right, for those who are just joining us, this is the card that was drawn this morning, Counting Coup, Victory. And in modern time, we're talking about facing our own shadow selves, and that is the significant part. And we are still using Jamie Sam's, I do that every single time, Sacred Path cards deck. And this is what jumped out at me when I was rereading the information about Counting Coup. So Jamie Sams writes that actions speak louder than words when victory is sought. A coup feather is never awarded to someone who intended to do something but did not follow through. So walking one's talk is the essence of true victory. And sometimes, especially when you're facing your shadow self, I think that's the challenge, is to be able to walk your talk, because that means that you're looking at yourself and your words and your actions are in alignment, right? That your actions equal your words. And for me, that's integrity. And so as we're facing our shadow selves, I think that we're understanding our own integrity in maybe a deeper way, possibly from another perspective. And then we have to be honest with ourselves and know when we're out of integrity. And hopefully we have good enough friends, sisters, to tap you on the shoulder and say, I think you need to come more back to center. Or, when was the last time you grounded? And so we can help each other, but really the inner work is our own responsibility. and facing those shadow parts of ourselves. Counting Coup on it. Yep. And good morning, Maggie. Lisa's saying, I know I will never be a cis star, but I am available for immediate adoption. Well, you really never know how big this group is going to get because, well, you know, everything changes. There's one thing that we know for sure is that energy is constantly flowing and constantly changing. If energy is static, is not moving, it's stuck and it's stagnant. And as a space clearer, we know how to move energy, right? We know how to do that. And so you never know. You never know, Elise. We might have an increase in the Michigan contingency over there because Minnie is over there, right? She's a star. And let's see. Yeah, Minnie's got Michigan coverage, so who knows? It might happen. And Maggie, good morning, Neshi and all. Good morning, Maggie. We got to double check. This morning, it's coffee. Why? Because I stayed up late again last night. I know, this is like the third night in a row. So we got caffeine this morning. And we're going to be, my sisters and I, we're going to be doing meditations, journey work this afternoon. And so it's going to be a challenge to be, what is that called? Self-discipline, because that way I won't fall asleep in the meditation. I might be right next to one of my sisters and they can nudge me when I start snoring. They're not laughing. A little caffeine. All right, so Jamie Sams goes on to say that counting Coup is a personal victory that affects the whole. So as the war we wage on old patterns that keep us from knowing world peace, these enemies can be ignorance, inner conflict, envy, jealousy, willful pride, laziness, fear, bitterness. Oh my gosh, they've got quite a list here. Hatred, greed, bigotry. Here's one. Gossip, resentment, and broken promises. And some of those, to me, that goes back to trust, right? That if somebody, including yourself, is not, their integrity isn't intact, they're not walking their talk, their words don't match their actions, the level of trust diminishes. Doesn't mean that you can't get it back. It's just that you have to work at it. And maybe that has more to do with nurturing a relationship. And maybe doing the hard stuff within that relationship. Rats. That means having to sit down and have a challenging conversation. You guys have something you'd like to add to that? Got to speak up.
Keep an open heart when someone wants to come back or revisit something or.
Okay, I'm going to double check. And we got just a little bit of a delay. Did you hear my sister say that about? Let me know if you heard her. If you didn't hear her, I'll have her come closer to the mic, but not in the frame. Okay, so we got just a little bit of a delay. So if you guys did hear her, what she said, please let me know. And if you didn't, we'll have her repeat it, but closer to the mic. Okay. All right. Oh, good. Mado said, yes, they can hear. All right. So, so having that open heart, when you're right in the middle of a situation, sometimes it's really hard just to even sit down and have that conversation. But what she was saying is that to have an open heart and an open mind, I'll add, that when the person that you're having the friction with is to be able to sit down and talk about it and have an open enough heart that if they want to come back and work on that relationship is to have an open heart and an open mind to do that. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. For me, I have to check my ego because there's times when you think that you want to be right and you have to prove that you're right. You have to sit down and say, what is my intention here? Because if you're really stuck on being right, then you don't have an open heart and an open mind for the rest of the conversation, right? So that's about facing your own shadow self, your own stuff, Yeah, it's that balance of the head and the heart. Good morning, Mary Anderson Fry. I always say your full name, right? It's because I like it. And Rochelle said she heard you. Good. And Elise, yep, keep your heart open. Yes. And Maggie said, yep, they heard you. Yay. Mm-hmm. All right. So going on with Jeannie Sam, she says, our modern medicine shields are made from truth. Our weapons are living that truth. And our prize is our future, bringing the healing of Earth Mother's children. Every two-legged has been asked to accomplish these coups through the discovery and healing of the self. So, the counting coup actually, to me, has the bigger impact on our soul growth. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Because we're all doing it. We all have that opportunity to face those parts of ourselves that sometimes we don't want to look at. And it's just not, of one person here and one person there. It's all of us. And I think that's where the real inner work lies. It's fun and it's good to be in a space that's always positive. And, some people would call it nirvana. They would call it, puffy clouds and Easter bunnies kind of stuff, and that is fun to be in those places, but that's not where you're going to find your shadow self. No, it's not. You get to go back there when you face those parts of yourself and do the healing around it. Yeah. And when you do your healing, this is what I believe, is that when we heal those aspects of ourselves, we also heal our ancestors 7 generations back, and we also heal for our descendants 7 generations forward. So even though we're working on ourselves, that ripple effect is huge. And we shift the energy around us. When you stop and think about it, that's pretty cool. That we can shift all of that by facing ourselves. Oh, good. Elise is saying, but we can't see her. Not fair.
Ask
not
them if
fair.
they've been facing anything that they want to tell us about.
Okay. You heard her. She's wondering. There's an energy exchange here, She's wondering if you guys have faced any of your shadow selves counting coup. And if so, would you like to let us know about it? Yeah, it's up to you. You could just say yes, and what the one thing, the thing that you faced, make it easy. All right. So here's the card for those who just showed up. Counting coup, victory. And the application of the card is that the war cry has been shouted and victory is assured if you have received this card. Yay! And it's also saying that you're being put on notice that a personal victory is in the works. You are to honor yourself at this time and be grateful for this blessing. Counting coup represents the success of forward movement and the acknowledgement of right action. You have been true to yourself and are being rewarded to staying on the path. I'm looking at the one that we just celebrated last night. They're saying congratulations. Share the joy of your coup with those who want to see you winning.
Right.
And you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I was doing the shuffling of the cards and asking, about the energy for today. What's the most important and for the highest good? And this is the card that came. You can't make this stuff up, considering what we just did last night. And in many ways, in celebrating what we're doing is we're acknowledging the completion of an initiation and the getting prepared for the next experience, right? All right. So you know how much I like Jamie Sams and what she writes, and I think that her poetry is one of my favorite. And so here is the poem that she has for Counting Coup. She says, "To know that I have honored my words with my deeds. Sweet victory is shared by all in filling others' needs. Humankind rejoices. The prize of Counting Coup, harmony and balance, a peaceful world anew." That's good. I like that. She's a good poet. Counting Coup. All right, so let's see. Elisa's saying, difficult. I've always been a distant runner and cyclist. Now I can't do either. My shadow self just tells me I'm getting fat. Well, that's when you face those aspects of yourself, and how you feel about yourself. That's the shadow part. Because 10 to 1, there's probably somebody in your life that doesn't think you're fat, doesn't see you that way. And so we all have something that we're facing, every single one of us. Yeah. I was just trying to think. See, I spent a whole last year, 2017 and part of 2016 doing this. It was not fun. I never cried so much in my entire life than I did in 2017. And facing those parts of myself that I didn't realize was out of balance. Yeah. I did a whole show on it with Orchard and Carl Franklin about dissolving the ego and learning that it's not really the dissolving as it is the right sizing, the balancing of it. And having to walk your talk, really? Yeah, because how can your heart lead? How can your soul lead when your ego is bigger than that? The energy of it. And so, yeah, learning how to balance it.
I have a tip for her. Perhaps it's time to move the body in a different way.
Oh.
And she hasn't discovered that yet. So, for example, yoga has been extremely helpful for me, and it's a big workout. Or that workout that people do with their elbows on the floor.
The
planking. So, like, just moving the body needs a new flow.
Oh, that's a good one. Did you hear that, Elise? The body needs a new flow. And so your energy has changed and shifted. So looking for a different way that you can move your body that's safe for you. Because I know that you have some other physical challenges going on. So, whether it is yoga or whether it is Tai Chi or whether it's Zumba, I don't know. It's a different way of moving your body. And since you're a long distance runner, you've got stamina, man. You got stamina. Doesn't matter your size, your body, your muscles. Remember that. Your stamina never really diminishes when you've trained that way. She's saying that she's doing Tai Chi now. Good. Because I agree with you. It's the body needs to move in a different way because you're not the same person. You're different in a good way, right? Yeah. Yeah, she says it's trying to find a new identity. Absolutely. Good one, Elise. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see what our animal relatives have to say that they can help us to understand the essence of the Counting Coup card with more clarity, with some depth. And this is the one that showed up first. Now you'd think, mouse? Wait a minute. We're facing our shadow selves. We're counting Coup. We just said it was big medicine stuff that we're doing, and mouse is going to come along and help us. It's about scrutiny. Yep, it's about scrutiny. And I wonder, for those of us that have a phobia of mice, what does that mean? and we don't want to look at we don't want to scrutinize, right? All right, so here is what Jamie Sams has to say about mouse medicine. She says it is a good medicine to use to see up close, to pay attention to detail. But when it's out of balance, is that it's a kind of medicine to chew on everything until they're tiny little pieces. And so you get caught up in the details to the point where you lose focus, you lose the perspective, right? Because it's in tiny little pieces. She also says that mouse is a powerful medicine to have in these modern times. Things that might appear insignificant to others take on enormous importance to mouse. So when it's in balance, using mouse medicine, you can actually look at a situation and see things that other people might not see, or understand things that other people might not understand, because you're looking at it closer. Yeah, that's interesting. Most people anger many other medicine types because they appear to be nitpickers. How many people do you know like that? I know a couple. You know, the example Jamie uses in here is that they'll tell you that you have lint on your clothes and the lint is the same color as your clothes. And so how did they see that? You know, because they're looking really closely. And they're the ones that will tell you that the things that you don't want to see, that you don't want to acknowledge is there. And so that helps us with counting Coup. They're the ones that are going to tap you on the shoulder and say, did you know that when you said that, did you see the other person's face? That you really hurt their feelings. And the person who said it may not even notice it. And so your friend who has the mouse medicine can help you to identify that. And sometimes they can do it in a way that the light bulb goes on for you, you know. In other ways, it's like, you know, mind your own business. But they're there to help. They're there to help. And when you have that kind of reaction about mind your own business, that means that that's something that you should be looking at. That's my 2 cents anyway. Right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So she says that they are merely putting everything in order so that they will be able to explore it more carefully at a later date, because they're very methodical. They organize things, right? So that they can actually take the time later to analyze and to scrutinize what they just put into order. And I have 2 people over there who like to do that. Organization. Actually, my BFF from elementary and high school, Marley, you know, she's a bookkeeper. And so she looks at the details and she scrutinizes, and she is also an organizer. And so it's interesting when I stop to think about how many people I have in my life who actually carry mouse medicine. There's a few. Minnie Kansman, organizer. She's going to teach us a way. What is that method she uses to fold clothes and to organize them in the bureaus and stuff? She knows. She studied this method, and so it's her ability to organize, right? Yeah. Funny how we don't look at that stuff until until we get card draws like this mouse. Jamie Sam says that without mouse, there would be no systemization of knowledge, because there's always more to learn and more to learn on a deeper and deeper and deeper level. And when it's in balance is when we can actually use that medicine to count Coup, because we get to look at those shadow parts of ourselves so that we can get close enough to them to neutralize them. We learn about them, we heal them, and then we move on, right? It becomes part of our wisdom. Part of how we express our gifts, which is our soul growth. All that interconnectedness. If your personal medicine is mouse, you may be fearful of life, but very well organized. Because, mouse is a prey animal. They feed a lot of other animals. And so they're always looking for that safe place where they store stuff, all their belongings, right? Everything that they've organized. She goes on to say that the mouse medicine is telling you to scrutinize, look at yourself and others carefully. The message is to see what's right before your eyes and to take action accordingly. And to remember that all good things come to those willing to work toward wholeness. Counting Coup using mouse medicine. What does that mean for us in modern time today? I mean, that's the intention of the card draw, right? Is what is the energy that's most important for us to know today and that we can share. So what is that for you? How does that unfold for you today? Because we're either witnessing it unfolding and learning through someone else's experience because we're their witness, or we're directly involved and we're counting our own coup. We're facing our own shadow selves and learning from it and learning how to scrutinize in a balanced way. What is that energy? Why do I react that way to a certain word or a certain phrase or a certain look? And looking at that, scrutinizing it. And here's the other one that showed up. Ant. And ant is about patience. And I smile at that because when you're going through and facing those shadows parts of yourself, patience is not exactly high on the list of tools that you reach for. You should, but it's not usually the one that comes up for you. Because if we were more patient with ourselves and would probably be kinder to ourselves when we're going through it. Patience, ants. And she says that ant medicine is a strategy of patience. Every ant in an anthill is part of the ant group mind. It's about self-sacrifice as a part of ant medicine. Ant people are active, community-minded, and they see a greater future for the needs of the community than just themselves. They're planners and are content to see their dreams being built a little at a time. A little at a time. So when you're counting coup and you're facing your shadow selves, when you're right in the middle of it, at the peak of it, you just want it over. Just show me what I have to learn. Show me what it is that I need to do for this to end.
Surrender.
Right. And it is surrendering. It is, but it is about patience, because if it happened all at once, it would be an overload. We would be overwhelmed with the amount of emotion and activities around us that we have to work through to get to the accomplishment, right? Which is to heal and to neutralize that shadow part of ourselves. And it happened all at once, we would probably be in a world of hurt, emotionally, mentally, possibly physically. Some people call that a healing crisis because you're physically ill when it happens too fast and all at once. And I laugh because I know better and I've done it. I cleaned my basement in my old house because we needed a place to meet. And so I rearranged everything. I cleaned it up and it was fast. And I was doing clutter clearing. Okay, we need the space, And what happened? We had the meeting, we had the gathering, and it worked out really well. But the next day, I was sick, physically ill. I felt like I had the flu. It's one of those things that you know that you have to get out of bed, but you just can't. Yeah. Threw myself into a healing crisis, and I knew better, but I did it anyway. So when it happens too much and too fast, how much of a healing crisis are you willing to go through for it to be done quickly? Ant is telling us that we need the patience so that we can, I'm glad you guys agree with me, is Ant is telling us to have patience. And when you're facing your shadow self, your intended goal is to heal and to be whole and to have peace, right? Joy, happiness. And so when we're patient, and that's what we're building. That's what we're building with ant medicine. Ant medicine. If you have ant medicine, she says, you eat slowly and deliberately and are content in knowing that what is yours will come to you. This knowing is good medicine. It shows a trust in the universe to provide. And it's one thing that it's that trust again, isn't it? Building the trust, having the trust. And when you have people around you who walk their talk, that you're one of those people who walk their talk and you have integrity, and people trust you because you do what you say you're going to do. And that equals trust in the universe, because when you can trust like that, then you can trust things that you can't see. It's not tangible. You trust the universe. Elise is saying, tell that girl in the background that she could possibly have her own non-show too. Because Elise calls us the non-show because they haven't actually named it.
Someday I will.
Someday she will. And you have to know that that's one thing she and I have in common. We have many things in common, but this is one of them, is that in her college days, younger days, she was a DJ. She spun records, right? She's used to working with a microphone. She's a PR person. She knows about marketing and all that good stuff. But in my early days, starting in radio, I was in high school when I started in radio. And so, that kind of experience just kind of carries over to a different medium, right? Right. And she's good. She's a talker. She's a Gemini. I'm surrounded by Geminis. All right. And so, let's see. Ant is working for the good of the whole. All right. So whenever we do our own work, what did we just say? When we do our own work and our own healing, that we affect the vibration around us, we shift that, but we also help our ancestors and our descendants. It's that ripple effect. All right. Ant medicine. I'm going to see what the poem is because I didn't read the poem for ant. Okay, so I didn't read it before. So here it is. Oh, tiny ant, your patience grows like the sands of time. Can I learn to be like you, or is it too sublime? That Jamie Sams. Like I said, she's a good poet. I like that. Check the time. Hey, we're doing pretty good. So we have talked about counting Coup a few times. In these morning live streams. And so when I was asking my spiritual team about why we had to look at it again today, it has to do with having the patience of facing those aspects of ourselves. And it's better to do it slow and gradual, and so that it's complete, and that we can experience the events around it. And some of those events may not be comfortable, may not be pleasant, But what they're teaching us in that is going to last us, not just this lifetime, but all of our other experiences in other lifetimes, other dimensions. And so it's all about our soul growth, you know, and when we can have the joy around it, even better, even better. So I am going to go spend some time with my sisters. We're going to get ready. We're going to get prepared to do our journey work this afternoon. And so enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And please take whatever it was that resonated with you with this information this morning and see how your day unfolds. How does that energy come to you, through you, and around you? And if it didn't resonate with you or any aspect, that's okay. Just let it go. Maybe it was meant for you to hear so you could share it with someone else because it was meant for them. And you're the messenger. You know, you never know, right? You never know. So I'm not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow morning on Sunday. We're going to finish up some stuff here that we're doing. And I'll see you on Monday morning with the card draw. So until then, Bama Mina, until we see each other again. Have a good day, everybody.